Hey guys, Defcamp here, and welcome to DefTalk, the talk show that focuses on everything World of Warcraft, whether it's classic, retail, or the players that play it. Today we have with us someone I'm very, very excited to have on the show, someone who is a rising star in the classic content creation. He is someone who I am a huge fan of. He has been making some really, really kick-ass videos on YouTube. You guys have to check him out. His name is Platinum. Wow, what's going on, Platinum? How you doing, man?
Oh my gosh, you're making me blush. Hi. I'm happy to be on, guys. Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
and by the way,
Thank
guys,
you
I'm
for coming,
Melderon.
dude.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, there's that
Melderon's
guy.
here, by the way. Yeah. So who cares? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, guys, Platinum. If you guys aren't aware of who he is, he has been making some kick-ass videos over on YouTube. And I gotta say, your machinima and like what you've been doing with machinima and throwing. The I'm a fan of so many of your videos, but the recent video, and I think it was your priest video. Was it the priest video back in the day? Or
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of the priest video, and man, you're on a roll right now, and I can definitely see you becoming one of the biggest classic content creators. So you're on the roll. You've been getting a lot of subs. So thank you so much for coming, man. So if you want to get started, we can start off where we start with everybody. When did you first start playing WoW, and how were you introduced to it?
Okay. So I first started playing WoW when I was 8 years old,
Wow.
in Wrath of the Lich King.
Whoa,
Oh, wow.
you're youngin'.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been playing WoW for more than half my life, which is kind of a scary thing to think about. But I believe I started around Ulduar. I'm not sure. I started when Looking for Group wasn't added yet.
Okay.
And my dad got me introduced to it, and I made a human warrior, and he was a Draenei, and we played a lot together, and yeah, level 55, I made my Death Knight, of course, and
Nice.
I was really bad at the game. I remember getting kicked out of Looking for Group dungeons all the time, but over time I got a bit better, started raiding and WoD.
Nice.
And,
So this
Yeah.
begs the question. So if you started in Wrath, how did you get to know about Classic and I'm assuming private servers,
Yeah.
and how did that happen?
when Nostalrius was at its peak and everybody was playing it, I got curious. I decided to pop on in. I made a hunter, got to level 20, and then Nostalrius got shut down, so I was kind of disappointed. But when Elysium came out is when I really, really got into Classic WoW, and I went really super hard on it. I remember I was still in high school at the time, and what I'd do, since the queues were so long, I'd go in the team viewer on my phone so I can get into the queue while I was still at school.
Oh
So,
my
yeah, I was
god.
super, super committed to it.
That
Played
is
a lot on
awesome.
Elysium. I haven't really played on Light's Hope or any of the more recent servers as much,
Right.
but yeah.
So that's interesting. So you transitioned from retail, I'm guessing, and I think that was during Warlords when Nostalrius was out. So when did you? So what made you coming from the retail environment, going to an older version of the game? Most people would have said, "Well, Nostalrius got shut down, so I'm done." What made you keep going?
Honestly, when I first started playing on that hunter, like instantly I fell in love with how the game played because
Mhm.
it there's actual meaning to everything that you're doing, right? There's lots
Yeah.
of like rewards, even though it might
Yes.
be just like a green weapon. You guys know
Yeah.
it's a great feeling, even though it's like that. Yeah, just something about that really attracts me to the game. And because like with retail now, like I'm not, there's not as much meaning to everything.
Nope. And I was actually recently watching a Bellular video, and it was about his um, first time playing the demo again because he had played in Classic, and he was talking about how, and I had gotten to this little, it wasn't like an argument, but someone, I had played Legion, I had done the Mythic rating and all that, and I was explaining how more rewarding it is in Classic, getting all those small little achievements and things like that. And someone was like, so wait a minute, leveling from 1 to 60 after taking all these months and blah, 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 blah is more rewarding than getting epics and all this in Legion? He's like, how? That makes no sense. I'm like, he's thinking of like just getting the amount of things makes it more rewarding. He's thinking in the way of like, so you're a kid on Christmas, and if you get 20 gifts compared to one really good gift, that's better. Like that's the same way of looking at it. Just because you're getting a bunch of crap compared to something that's really good, every level you get the feeling like your character is progressing. Every level you feel you get new skills and all this like that. It's the sense of the reward, what you're getting compared to the amount of shit. You know what I mean? And a lot of people who didn't play Classic, never played it, they can't understand that. So it's really, interesting for you. I'm sure, you started playing in Wrath. Was it a big difference from what remembered in Wrath compared to what you were started playing in Classic, or was it kind of similar?
The only sort of like nostalgia that I got was from the zones. So like, like my first time going through Elwyn Forest, all that sort of stuff. But the late game stuff, like all the dungeons and raids in Blackrock Mountain and AQ, all those things are completely new experiences for me. So I feel like the argument people have when they say they don't like Classic WoW because it's rose tinted, I don't really have that view on the game, and I still really, really enjoy it.
That is awesome to hear.
That's interesting. So you're of a demographic that is a very interesting one, and I think it's a very big one that a lot of people don't think about. Yeah. When people think about Classic WoW, they always think about the veterans coming back, like myself and Defcamp, and we weren't even really veteran. I mean, we were very new at the game when we started Classic WoW. But your demographic, these are people that are coming back that never experienced vanilla WoW. Do you think that's going to be a powerful demographic and lasting demographic in Classic?
I honestly hope so. I'm worried that like the people that play games at my age are conditioned for the instant gratification sort of stuff. I'm worried that that might be a problem for when they first play Classic. But I don't know. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of the people's first time playing it and like the experiences and their stories. Like people always talk about Classic and how they're like, oh yeah, I want to go relive those memories. But I feel like for some people, it's about making those memories to begin with.
Yes. Absolutely.
Like I can't tell you like all these times when I played on Elysium, like all these memorable moments that I still remember now, like all those Stranglethorn brawls that I had, or like getting 60 for the first time, or all those sort of things.
Wow.
I really hope that those memorable experiences stick with people that are playing it for the first time as well.
That's really good to hear, and it really gives me hope looking into Classic, because Melderon and I talked a lot about this. We talked about how, Classic has the potential to become the premier, most played version of WoW when it comes out, right? Because BFA isn't doing that good right now. And there's a lot of people who never experienced the old world, pre-Cata. There's a lot of people who never experienced the old style, putting your talent points in. There's a lot of people who never experienced the old style of gameplay, which is so different than how it is now. And I think there's a lot of people out there, I think as long as they kind of grasp the idea that they are, in essence, two different games, right? One is a very fast-paced, like you said, trying to make everyone kind of on the same level, very, kind of training wheels in a way when you think about it, compared to Classic. Classic is you make what you make out of it. Your time invested is there's a direct correlation between time invested and strength of your character and that kind of thing. I think if people can get used to the idea that it's a different game, that it's really at its core a completely different style of playing, then I think people can kind of gravitate towards, okay, this is something that's pretty cool. I can invest my time into this character, make him grow, and kind of get put myself into it and be rewarded for that. So it's really cool when I hear someone who you played in Wrath, so you were a little used to the style of play there. It was kind of an integral part where it was changing a lot in Wrath. But for someone who had never played Classic and who fell in love with it like that, I think it really goes to show that there could be a huge demographic of people who had never played Classic and could be, and I think it's important to have that player base there, because you mix those people with the veterans in there, and you have such a live world right there with people helping each other, people giving people hints and helping them along the way, because that's really what Classic was, right? Is the social experience of people helping each other out.
Totally. Like I'm not sure where I heard this analogy, but like I've heard people compare like retail is like going to a theme park, you ride on the rides, it's all fun. But I feel like classic is like, like hanging around the fire with your closest friends, drinking hot chocolate. Like it's just, I don't know,
Yeah,
it's this warm, cozy feeling
Yeah.
that I get with it.
It's also the most sandboxy environment I think of all the WoW
For sure.
expansions,
absolutely.
and so that's interesting. I think that that's a really important thing is that we a lot of us that are coming back to class are coming back for very specific reasons, and it's to kind of relive kind of what we lived before. But there's going to be a huge amount of players that are going to come from other MMOs, retail, and just maybe individuals who just said, "Oh, what's this game that's coming out? Classic WoW. I don't know what
Yeah.
this is," and just play it. And it's interesting to think about that they're going to have the same experiences and they're going to feel the same thing. So do you feel so? Well, I guess another thing that I'm thinking while we're talking, I'm thinking to myself, classic WoW has aged, I think, gracefully, but it's still an old game. Do you think that the graphics might be a turnoff for younger audiences?
I think definitely. It was a turnoff for me when I first started playing. Uh, I would not be opposed to having updated models and stuff. I know some people don't like that sort of thing, like toggleable, of course. Like I wouldn't want
Right.
it to be always new models, but yeah, I could see people thinking that it's just some old ancient game that they can't really get into, right? Because of how it looks, you know?
Right. Well,
Hopefully not. Hopefully they don't feel that way, but I just can't help but think that some players might have that feeling.
did you play the demo and did you see how they implemented the graphics there?
Did the most that I noticed was like the grass and how
Right.
like when you it moves and
Do you think that is enough for people? Because I thought it had a vast difference compared to what we're used to on private servers. As far as even there were even some minor animation changes. It was a lot more fluid in some animations. And for me myself, I'm a person who especially because I've played the classic. I kind of associate the newer graphics with the newer games. So for me, it's kind of like when I see the newer graphics, I automatically associate in my head the newer game. So for me, it was important to keep that older style of graphics. And I was really happy with the classic you know button where you can make it look like how it pretty much is on private servers. But there were still little things that were different, some animations, things like that. But do you think that's enough when you have it on the full, newer models all the way up? Do you think that's enough for the newer players to kind of be satisfied?
I definitely think so. I don't think it's like this be all end all thing where like, oh, the game doesn't look like retail, so it's not it's just ancient.
Yeah,
I definitely feel that having the older models and keeping the graphics a little bit lower than retail helps differentiate
mm,
between retail and classic, and it doesn't get people just coming into World of Warcraft confused about
yeah,
which version they're looking at.
that's
Because I
very
feel
true.
like if you keep the same models and everything, there's going to be some confusion with new players.
Absolutely, especially with streaming and
Yeah, yeah,
because
exactly.
you look at nowadays and how big streaming is and how a lot of the big WoW streamers are really big advocates for classic WoW. And I think that is where we're going to see a lot of these new players getting introduced to classic WoWs through people like Soda Pop and like Asmongold, like Reckful, these guys, these huge, guys who have 50K plus, live streams that are going to be playing classic. And a
Definitely.
lot of these people have younger people that watch them, and that's a huge way for them to get put into this world of classic WoW. And what do you think about that? Do you think that is a good thing or a bad thing? I mean,
I
of course, it's a good thing to get people to play, but I'm
it's
sure,
those people are totally going to bring like a large audience of
yeah,
newer and younger players in. Definitely, no doubt. I feel like
yeah,
that's going to be the biggest avenue people are going to discover about classic from, for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And it's a good thing too because luckily people like Asmongold and they've been very clear in stating that it's classic WoW, it shouldn't be changed. It is the game that it's supposed to be, and have kind of been a good bridge, they've been a good bridge to gap that old style versus new style, so people can understand, okay, this is why the game needs to be like that, because when you start changing things, then it loses the style, and it loses a lot of things. And we've kind of been through this road before with retail WoW, and we saw these changes happen, and we saw a lot of people wanted a lot of these changes that happened over time, the quality of life changes, and then when we saw what happened when they were implemented, we were like, oh well, maybe this wasn't a good idea. So it's good that. Do you think it's a good thing that we have these people, to guide the masses in a way?
Totally. I feel like they're representing the classic community very well and stating what is good and what is not, with reason too, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what did you? So, go back to your private server experiences. What did you play in private servers, and what classes? What faction? Why did you pick that faction and class? Just out of curiosity.
So I raided as a druid, resto druid. It was pretty easy. I got up to BWL, so not that far, but I had my experience.
Yeah.
And then I did a lot of altaholic stuff, and I just leveled everything to just see how I'd like it. And I think for classic, I'm going to be playing a priest because I'm a big fan of healing.
Yes.
So, and nobody's going to ask a priest not to heal and be shadow usually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to be playing a dwarf, of course. Gotta have fear ward and everything.
Fear ward. Yeah.
Alliance player, eh?
Yeah. Okay. Here's some controversy. Okay. I would play horde, but I really, really don't like old Orgrimmar. I think it looks really ugly.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I think Melderon just. I think Melderon just lost hope.
No. I can understand why that, because I think if you the first thing you see is New Orgrimmar, it's a lot more lively. I will say that it's got a lot more bells and whistles. It's a lot more beautiful in certain ways. But for me, I guess the reason why I love Old Orgrimmar so much is because it's the first major city that I had that wow factor with. Like, I started off as Undead, but I went into Undercity. I wasn't really overwhelmed by Undercity. I'll have to admit. I mean, the music was awesome. The aesthetics were really cool. But when I walked into the Orgrimmar front gates and I saw how many people were standing by the bank, and I saw that, and the drums kind of hit and the music kind of hit, I was like, "What the? This is the game for me." That was the moment where I realized this was the game for me. So I cannot. So for me, I'm very biased. That was the first time I saw Orgrimmar, but I've played all the expansions except for BFA. I've seen New Orgrimmar, and it is much more lively. The only thing is you don't really spend much time there. So so that for me was kind of like maybe why I didn't like it that much. But I can understand that. I definitely could. But it's interesting how the major city actually moves your choice. That's interesting how the aesthetics kind of.
Yeah, you can't beat Ironforge, man. Ironforge is so good. The bridge, everybody hangs out on the bridge, stands on the pedestals if they have all the good gear so people can inspect them. Like, so good.
It's such a cool feeling of like being inside this mountain in this like old like stronghold. And my first character was Alliance. I played a Night Elf Rogue back in vanilla, and I will say the Alliance cities are kind of more aesthetically pleasing in a way, and I feel like they're a little bit more, they have more flair. Like Stormwind is like, it feels like a medieval city. It feels like you have these sections and you walk in and there's the statues, and it's like, it's pretty awesome when you walk into Stormwind and the music's going. And then you have the deep run tram. And then, the first time you see Ironforge from the outside, the mountain, and you see the hill that goes up into Ironforge, and you get there and the statue's right there in the middle. And you can go right or left, and then you get inside there, and the music goes dun, 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 this huge, just like giant. And then when you get to the center forge and all of that, and the lava and everything, it is friggin' awesome.
It's epic, man. It's epic. That's why I like it so much.
Epic. I kind of feel like the developers spent a little bit more time on the Alliance cities, especially Stormwind and Ironforge.
On the cities, definitely.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, Orgrimmar is nice, but I think that Thunderbluff has its. I've grown to love Thunderbluff because I like the Tauren race a lot, and it kind of. But initially, I didn't like Thunderbluff, and Undercity is great and all, but it's just it's convoluted, even though it's a circle. It's just very convoluted
It's
to
a
get
maze.
through.
It's a maze, man.
Yeah.
I remember getting lost in there all the time.
Really, yeah.
Yeah,
It feels
definitely.
small to me too. Does Undercity feel small to anybody else?
Yeah, I
It
think it
feels
is the
small.
smallest city.
Really?
I think so. If you think about Thunder Bluff is very sprawling. You have those bridges that go out into the different mesas, and it's kind of big. But I think
Darnassus isn't that big, is it? I mean,
Oh, I didn't think about Darnassus. I think you're talking about the Horde City. Sorry, yeah, but
oh, okay.
Darnassus
Yeah.
may be smaller than Undercity, but I don't think it is because
No,
Darnassus is
it's,
pretty sprawling too.
there's a lot of empty space in Darnassus too.
That's
you
what I
know?
mean. So Thunder Bluff has
Yeah.
empty space, so does Darnassus.
Yeah.
Undercity is very compact. It's the most compact city to me, and if you know how to navigate it,
Yeah.
you can actually get the things really quick. Because there's
Yeah.
auctioneers on all four corners, so you can easily get to an auction.
Right.
The bank's in the center, and then you have to go around the edges to get the profession trainers. So that's a little pain in the butt.
Friggin' mailbox is such. I hate where the mailbox is.
Yeah.
Though, honestly. I hate where the friggin'
Yeah.
mailbox is in Undercity.
But I think
But,
I think Orgrimmar, Stormwind, and Ironforge are by far the biggest ones, and I think Stormwind's actually the biggest city out of all of them. Because
It definitely
Ironforge
looks
isn't that big,
yeah.
honestly. It looks big because of the cavernous
Yeah,
nature of it.
like if you look and the size of the ceilings and everything like
That's what I
that,
mean.
like
Yeah, it's
square
cavernous,
footage.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's really interesting because I love Horde and I love the social aspect of the Horde, right? Of like who you are, you're kind of like these outcasts. You're kind of like the underdog. But a lot of the times when I play Alliance, I feel like I have more fun questing. I have more fun RPing and stuff. Like it's weird for me because I love Horde and I'm definitely a Horde player. But there are times when I feel like I kind of gravitate towards Alliance when it comes to certain quests, when it comes to certain zones. There's for me, and maybe that's just because that was the first class that I played was an Alliance player, and race was Alliance. So maybe that's why. Maybe nostalgia kind of hits me in some places. But there, places like Duskwood, places like Westfall, places like Elwyn Forest, and Red Ridge Mountains. You kind of have these like very iconic zones, and like compare that to the Barrens. It's kind of like,
come on, I love the Barrens.
I don't know, man. It's
I
just
love
like,
the Barrens.
I'm a much more big fan of Tearsful than I am the Barrens. So, I love Tearsful, but I don't know. For me, I guess because I think it comes back to me having that first player as Alliance. Is that kind of the way it's like for you? Do you feel like it's better for the when you play Alliance?
Alliance was my first, and I don't know, everything just feels so right and well crafted for the Alliance side. Definitely.
Yeah,
And I don't just for class, like I play Horde on retail,
Yeah.
but for classic, I'm a diehard Alliance player just because I don't know, there's just this nice warm feeling of just like going out and killing orcs in Black Rock Mountain, and then going back to like your giant city in a mountain or like made of stone. Like,
But can we all agree
so
the best race to kill are night elves? Come on, especially
Yes,
when
they are.
It's,
Yeah.
it's,
No,
it's the
gnomes,
scream.
gnomes. Come
It's
on.
the
Nails
scream at
are-
the end. It's the scream.
It
At the
is.
end.
Yeah.
They go and they fall down.
But
Like,
gnomes are great to kill too, and they go.
yeah.
But I will say I hate the fact that Alliance never ever fight fair.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
why-
subjective.
No, it's not subjective. It happens every time. They're always 10 levels higher than me. There's always 2 or 3 of them.
Always a female
There's
hunter.
always a female hunter
Night
or
elf.
a night elf druid
Yeah.
that just tries to kite me. And Hoarder, to me, it seems like Hoarder are much more honorable when it comes to 1v1 combat.
I
Just gonna
mean,
put that out there.
there's the stereotype of undead rogues ganking people, so like
It's
I
true.
don't know about
Yeah.
that.
True.
I don't know. I think that depending on what faction you're playing, you're going to always hate the other faction because
Confirmation bias, right?
yeah, exactly. I think that's how it goes. But I have noticed the same trend, Defcamp. But I think that when I played my Alliance Mage on Lightbringer, I got ganked by my fair share of multiple.
Yeah, but remember
abilities.
me and you, like, we even played into that a little bit because me and you would go out on our little ganking
Yeah,
quest
we
as
would.
Rogue Mage. And
Mage Rogue combination World PvP is so sick, dude.
And they always try to fight us like 1v1 and we kind of, and you know what, like as a rogue who ganked as Horde and as Alliance, I will say that that's not just an undead rogue thing. It's pretty much any rogue. Like
True.
dwarf rogues do it, but yeah, of course you have a lot of undead rogues who do that. But I feel like they're the exception when it comes to Horde. Like, you have the Honorable Tauren, the Honorable Orc, and the kind of crazy troll who's just like running away from you.
Running away, huh? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But so let's transition a little bit. I want to talk about your content creation because I think you're one of the most unique content creators out there, and I think especially the classic WoW foray. So I gotta know, what made you start creating content on classic WoW or content in general, and why? Like, just like how did you get into that?
So I was in a broadcasting class in school, and that really got me into editing and stuff. And then I used to make machinimas for Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't know. It just that really got me passionate into the whole thing. And then I started making Overwatch videos and all that sort of stuff. And then I don't know, for classic, like for the reason why I made my channel is because I saw a gap in the play or in the content creation, and like, oh, this isn't a thing that nobody's making right now. It's like high production value, have some jokes in it.
Yeah.
What if I just do that? So that's what I've done. I just honestly, I just make videos that I want to see.
Hell yeah.
Apparently people like that. So
that's our rule number one.
Yes.
We make content we would want to watch, and that's why we do what we do. That's why, some people say, our Def Talks are too long or whatever, and then we make our Classic WoW Tales, or we make our shorter videos too, but we primarily make longer videos. But that's what we like. We like digesting longer stuff. We like listening in the car or while we're walking, and that's why we continue to do Def Talk and more of the podcasty stuff. But then the shorter content, Classic WoW Tales, I like writing, so it's a creative writing outlet for me. And then the guides, I love the games. I love making guides. Right. So
and then the short term, just like, this is going on right now, and talking about things like that. It's kind of just like, what's going on at the time right now. A lot of it is just like, what would we want to watch and put out there? And a lot of it is stuff that we're still learning. Like, we would like to, dip into, like Melderon started making like little bits of machinima and stuff like that. And, which is, I think, so cool. I love machinima. I think it's one of the, being able to tell a story with like WoW characters, and that's something that I did every Tuesday waiting for reset. Was I would go on YouTube and watch WoW machinima while I was waiting for the servers to go back up, and it was just like, it's such a, for me, integral part of playing WoW is like having the machinima, and seeing new people create new machinima is so cool. And good machinima, and it's just, I don't know what it is about machinima, but it just like it gives me this warm, fuzzy feeling inside. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Because like it's been around since classic, right? You look at things like Illegal Danish.
Yeah, Illegal Danish.
Such an inspiration for me. And just like when you look at like the higher production value stuff, like it takes so long to do stuff like that. And it's such like an admirable art form.
It is.
For the people that really put their time and effort into making it as best as they can.
Absolutely. You can tell these are people that are passionate and love what they're doing.
How long did it take you to learn how to do this? Like machinima itself. Like I can't, because for me it's like it's always interesting to me to learning how to, like, how long you started to take you to learn this, and like how. If you can also just tell us. Well, let's answer the question first. Like, how did you start making machinima, and like how did you learn it?
I was kind of just self-taught when learning it. Probably around 3 years ago is when I really started taking the time to learn it. Only like in the past couple months have I really like focused on making it as good as it can be, right? But I've done it off and on for a couple years now, and still learning a lot.
Yeah. So can you paint us a picture of like what's your like steps? So do you like storyboard? Do you like write a script, and then how do you storyboard, or how do you like organize this machinima? Like your last video, your mage video, that introduction that I was very, very lucky enough to voice part of that for you, and I'm really glad I got to do that. But like, so what's the step process to do that kind of thing?
Yeah, so for that intro in particular, I wrote the script, did the storyboard quickly on paper, and basically my storyboard is just organizing things by emotes. So like, for example, somebody says a sentence, I'm going to go like, okay, talk emote, question emote is going to be the best way to convey what sentence they're doing here. So I organize everything by that, film all of the background footage, make sure everything's framed correctly, and just go from there. And like doing that sort of stuff takes a lot of planning, because like if you get a recording of one of the characters just slightly off angle, it's going to be super noticeable, and then you got to go and you got to refilm the whole thing.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. So, and then what I've recently started doing, so I've started changing the speed of emotes so it conveys what people are saying a lot more. So I've worked on that.
That's brilliant. That is, I didn't even think about that. Is that something you thought of yourself?
No, I've seen other Machinima people do it,
Okay,
but this is the first time. And like, I could even go more in depth with them with some of my Machinimas by like adding like the sound effects of people walking, or like the movement of their armor. This is all stuff that like I've learned a lot from. Shout out to Nixium for helping me learn all this stuff. He's had some behind the scenes stuff that has really inspired me to get into the fine nitty gritty details. Of
Nixium
is shorts.
Amazing, you know. His and I think
big inspiration.
Yeah.
He's unfortunately kind of veered away from the Machinima recently, but I think that's, you know, he's focusing on other stuff. He recently is moving into England. I think he's getting married.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of time. Like his videos take so much time, and I love when he does those videos, like the inside and how he makes the Machinima. And it really goes to show how much, like you said, those little things, like those little sound effects, like of the arm and of the walking, but that makes it feel so much more real.
Comes alive, right?
It really comes alive when you do little things like that. You know, if you just have the guy going like this and just put the words in, yeah, it's funny, it's cool. But when you do those little things and you add the ambiance and those sounds, it just really makes it come to life.
Definitely. Yeah, it makes it a lot more believable.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite, so of the vanilla flavors you've made so far, which one was your favorite?
I really like the priest one, just because I hired some guy that dressed up as Jesus to do the intro for me.
Dude, that was the Fiverr guy, right?
Yeah, that was the Fiverr guy.
I couldn't believe you got him to do that. I was like, did you see he got the Fiverr guy? Like that was friggin' epic, dude. Like that was...
Yeah, you should see his prices now.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, it's not just $5 anymore, is it?
No.
Because he was on like PewDiePie and all, right?
Yeah. And like when you look at like his work schedule, he does that for like 5 hours a day of like recording people's stuff.
Oh
like,
my God.
What an interesting way to have a job, right?
Seriously.
That's really cool.
But like he is Jesus. Like, dude, I couldn't believe when I clicked on that video and I saw him. I'm like, I cannot believe. Like that just goes to show like the amount of effort that you put in your videos. Like the fact that you went out and got that, and like how serious you are about it. It's just so cool to see
I'm
that.
old. What is he called? The Fiverr guy? Like Fiverr?
Oh, Phil, you don't even... Melderon doesn't know. So, yeah. Go ahead,
I can explain. His name's SoCal Christ. And what he does is he's on a website called Fiverr, where you can pay him money to say a script for you. So, like, I put, hey, welcome to this episode of Vanilla Flavors. And then I send that script to him. Around 5 days later, he comes back with everything on my script and he says it for me.
Wow.
And and like he does other stuff too. Like I saw that he has like send me a song and I'll dance to it for the whole duration for like $10. Just like weird stuff. Like, what an interesting way to make a living, right?
Yeah.
Like that guy's killing it.
But it's smart.
But the thing is, he got famous through PewDiePie because PewDiePie used him in a video.
I believe that's how.
Yeah, and so like, remember that whole controversy thing with PewDiePie using those Indian guys to do that thing? Well, he used the Jesus guy to do something else. It was like not related to that. It was something else, and it blew up. You know what I mean? So like, you have this guy. I mean, millions and millions of people know who this guy is. You know what I mean? He's huge in like meme culture, internet culture. He's huge, and the fact that Platinum got him for this video is just like amazing.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's huge.
I just saw the opportunity and I was like, well, like I can't think of any other intro I could do, so I'm just gonna get this guy, right?
I'm so glad we talked about that because that was something that like when I saw that I was like, I can't believe like you did that. Like that was so awesome. Like that is just something that I think and like, you know, the more and more people that watch your video and they're like, oh my God, they're like so shocked to see him when you put out the video, like, and you see the Jesus guy. It's just like, what the hell? It's so cool, man. It's so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff, man. Definitely. So, So do you have correct? Just refresh my memory. How many more do you have to do of the vanilla flavors, or do you?
So I got the hunter and the rogue left.
Okay,
Nice.
cool, nice. Looking forward to that. That's gonna be
So
really
yeah, after I finish those, I don't know. I don't know what content I'll do. I'm thinking about stuff, brainstorming. So that's
Well,
not
I'm
going to be the end of my
excited.
channel.
You know,
of
what would be
course. I'm
really
gonna
funny, like
Oh, no,
quest
not.
quest-based machinima. Like say there was a
Explain.
quest that people
like
hate,
Tyrion's forging, like
or
the
yeah,
injury.
or good quests that people like, or like quests that people hate, and just doing a machinima based around like the Shards of Misrael or Hamster Wheel just did a really awesome video about that.
Yeah.
But if you did like a funny spin on it, like, oh my god, I have
Like
to run
some
all over
guy
the
who does
place, and then you have to
yeah.
find Fuzzrock, and then someone's killing Fuzzrock, and then you're like, you know what I mean? Like all these like
Like some dwarf who's like trying to do it, and he's like, "Oh God, this guy is dead again," or something like that.
yeah. I don't know, just like
The first thing that comes to mind is the robot chicken quests
Oh
and
my
like
God,
Fairless.
yes.
those two, like someone's
Oh God,
ganking,
those are so bad.
you get like to the end of the dock and someone's like killing you, and you're like, yeah, any
I
of
have a
those would
funny
be,
story
yeah.
about that man, my rogue, and I was just in stealth while I was doing it, and I was on my alliance rogue, and all you see, I'm in the hinterlands, in the one in the hinterlands, and all you see is the chicken walking by itself down this road, and all you see are all these horde, and they're just looking at the chicken. They're all trying to blizzard to get me out of stealth, and there's just like 15 or 20 horde trying to figure out why is this chicken walking by itself. There must be a rogue doing the quest, and they try to follow the chicken for hours trying to get me out of stealth, and you just see me going like /LOL and just laughing at them, and then it was so funny because the trolls came, or the wildkin came to attack the chicken, and for some reason they just bugged it out and just kept going. So I was able to do the whole quest in stealth. It was so funny.
Totally. Like even though those quests are so horrible, like for the hinterlands for me too. I remember it was like me and like three other people, and we ganked these horde that were about to start the escort, and we were like, okay, sweet, it's ours now. So then we started the escort. We're going down the walkway, and we see the horde that we ganked just waiting there for us, like, and we know this confrontation's gonna happen because the chicken's slowly walking, and we're like, oh God, shit's gonna go down, dude. We got to get ready for this. We got wiped by him, but it was still a fun memory, even though that we lost.
That's so fun. I mean, how many
Yeah.
battles have been fought over that damn chicken?
Oh my God. But I think that'd be really interesting because not only because what you do is you provide a funny introduction, but then you provide serious feedback and guide type information. So if you're able to say like, start with a funny story about the quest and then say this is where the quest is, this is how you start it. This is how
many waves of wildkins come, and be able to look out for some horde and this and that, and yeah, it's not a bad idea. You have the funny aspect of it, and then have the serious aspect of it too, and that's actually pretty cool. And I think that is, a great way to get like with your videos. It's so cool when you have the machinimas in there. It's a great way to get people hooked on the video. With your most recent video, you have that machinima, which is really interesting, and it's funny, and then automatically you're hooked, and it's like a great way to get people involved in the video. And I think you do a really good job doing
it. Thank you. Yeah. What's the next coming months are going to be interesting for me, because once I finish up the vanilla flavors, like, it's kind of like a whole new sort of era of the channel, right? And I have some ideas that I'll keep secret for now, but it's going to be exciting, I think.
Awesome. Well, we're psyched. So
definitely
I wanted to go back to when you first started playing. So you were 8 when you first started playing at Wrath, right?
Yeah.
What was it like for you when you first started playing and you got into this world, right? This world of Warcraft. Were you playing any other games similar to WoW before that, or was it like a huge just jump right into this crazy world? And what was it like for you?
I was that Call of Duty on Xbox kid. Like, that's what I used to, MW2 and Black Ops. I used to play that a lot. I think I was playing that while I was still playing WoW. I don't know. It's a bit fuzzy.
Wow.
But yeah, I remember playing WoW on my warrior in Elwyn Forest. And I don't know, I was 8 years old, so I roleplayed a lot. So I remember pretending I was like Man vs. Wild, and I'd like build a campfire like in the middle of Elwyn Forest, and just like sit around. And just like, I don't know, I just did weird stuff like that. I remember I had a guild with 2 of my other friends on my Horde character, which was a Blood Elf hunter named Helgot. because that's a badass name.
That is a badass name.
And we had a guild called the Outlaws of Azeroth, which is based off an old WoW machinima at the time. But like we would just role play together and just like hang out next to Thrall and be like, okay, Thrall's telling us we need to go get Tiger's Eye. So then we'd go run out and we'd kill mobs and we're like, oh, we got the Tiger's Eye. Now what? And then we just didn't do anything. But then we also go to like Booty Bay and go fishing and like.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. That's so cool. So
Yeah.
the RP, is that RP something that you're going to plan on doing again once Classic comes out? Because something for me, I wanted to say I never really got big into RP, and it's something that now that I'm getting older, it's something that I'm like really interested in, and I would love to be able to do. Even if it's just something like not that serious, because the way I feel about things like RP, and like there's so many things to do in WoW that I've never done before, and it's almost like playing the game, again for the first time, and when you do this adventure, is something that you never did before. So is that something that you plan on doing again?
Not in Classic. I plan on playing on a PvP server on Classic,
Okay.
but I have
There's still
dabbled
RP
in...
there,
You can. Maybe with people not willing to RP.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
RP.
That's what I meant.
But
yeah.
I have RP'd in retail, and honestly, like it is definitely something anybody should try at least once.
Yeah.
Because the amount of detail people go into their characters and all of these, because it's basically like playing Dungeons and Dragons, pretty much.
Yeah,
If you guys ever played that. Like people go into crazy detail. They have like all these stat sheets and background for their character. Like it's a lot of fun if you're really bored and you're like looking for a new experience in WoW. Like get the total roleplay add-on. So you can put your backstory and everything.
Yep, you can put your backstory and all that. And there's some funny parts too, like when you go like the moon. What is it? Moon guard realm at the
Goldshire. Yeah,
all the furries there having their little orgies and stuff. But
it's so weird, man.
But it's so cool. It is so weird. It's so cool. Like what I love about the RP thing is like it really is a chance for you to get involved in the world of Warcraft, like the actual world of Warcraft. And like if you're not someone who knows the lore, or if you want to do the lore, or you want to know more about the lore, like it's a way to get involved deeper within the world of Warcraft. You know what I mean? And so it's a great way to kind of explore new things, because for a lot of people, there's a lot of people who never read quests, who just do what they're doing to get the end level and then PvP or raid, and they're doing this whole story and have no idea what's transpiring while they're doing it. They're just killing wars or they're killing demons, not knowing why, no consequences, you know what I mean? And when you RP, it's a way to kind of explore, okay, what am I doing in this world? What impact am I having in this world? And, it's just another way to explore that. So I think it's a really interesting thing to get involved.
And you make your own stories too, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, no joke, Moonguard for Alliance and Wimrest Accord for Horde are the best servers you can play on right now in retail, because there's no sharding. And the community is just so tight knit because of the roleplay too. And they still have all the mythic guilds and all like the normal guilds of people that don't RP, right? But those two servers, and probably like maybe some other RP servers, still have a sense of community that I feel like is lacking from any other server in retail.
That's really, really interesting. Really interesting. I didn't even think about that.
So would you say community for you was the biggest aspect, your favorite aspect of Classic WoW? Or what would it be that you said, this is the reason why I play? If you had to pick one thing.
Community, for sure. Running into the same people all the time is like, there's some really special feeling about that. And with Classic, I feel like you're not limited. Like, if you want to go get something, you can just go get it. You're not blocked by a tremendous amount of RNG or relying on other people. Like if I want to log in right now and go from 160, I could do that if I really wanted to. And I can push myself, and you can really make a name for yourself in Classic that you can't do in retail.
So true. So
like I don't really play that much on private servers anymore, but I can still tell you some of the prominent players that are on Northdale and stuff.
Like the PvP guys that are like big, and and you see the name that rank 14 guys are, who the badass guys are that are clearing content, like in like 2-3 hours, and
you don't even have to be good too to be a prominent member. Like
it's true.
Pirates of the Pancreas is a guild on Northdale, and all they do is sit in Red Ridge and kill lobies. And like it's just so cool because you don't get that in the new game, right?
Yeah.
Like having these prominent
It's so
people
true,
and like
man.
these little stories in each server, you know?
Our friend, GP30, right? He was in a guild that all they were in charge of was doing local defense. So like if a town was getting raided by Alliance, or if the town was being, I think he played Alliance. So if a town, or no, he played Horde, right?
He played
Yeah. So
Horde.
if a
Yeah,
town
he
was,
was our
if a
first
town was,
DefTalk too, by the way.
yeah, our first guest,
First
DefTalk, yeah.
guest. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
So like his whole guild were local defense basically. So like they would go to whatever town was being attacked and defend it. Like that's what they were known for, and they got crazy popular on the guild as being like, these guys who picked up for the little guys and for the lobies that were
Beacon
getting
of hope.
yanked over. Yeah, beacon of hope, exactly. And that's so cool. You know what I mean? And I can't wait till we get our local defense channels back and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I love that kind of stuff, man. I absolutely love it.
World PvP is something that I'm not that good at World PvP, but World PvP, like when I first started playing on Elysium, I remember it was like a group of 40 Alliance or something in Stranglethorn, and we just like swept through the whole zone,
Yes.
eliminating every single red thing we can see.
I've been there for that as well.
Such a cool moment,
I know,
It's
dude.
not something
taking over Nessingwary's camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
the Alliance people sweep in, they take the camp, they keep it for around like 30 minutes, and then the Horde sweeps in and takes it. It's so cool because these aren't events created by the game. These are events created by players,
Exactly.
which keeps it.
And stuff like that happens over every little questing spot, that's shared with the Horde and Alliance. Like if in Stranglethorn as well, those trolls near the water, and the ones that we have to get the foot, Lucky Club's foot or whatever like that. Like, you'll go there and you'll see all red. Like, okay, let me come back in 15 minutes and see if the Horde has it. Now you come back in 15 minutes and all the Alliance are dead and that's controlled. So it's like you have to kind of schedule your quests around, is there too many Alliance in the zone, or and it's really cool when you have that. Like World PvP for me it's by far one of my most favorite things to do in Classic WoW. I just love that sense of defending the lobies. Like the other day, this friggin' druid was just going around killing people in Hillsbrad. Just like, and it's a druid, and he was running away, so I would get away. And finally catch up to him and kill him. It's just like, you bastard. Like, leave them alone. Like, it's just so fun.
Yeah, like I feel like if you play on a PvE server, I feel like you're missing out on half the game.
Oh yeah.
Like PvP
Absolutely.
is such an integral part of the player versus player environment and just player versus player interaction,
So do you play BFA at all, or have you stopped that?
I played it for like a month, and honestly, I just log in to raid now because I have a very tight knit player or a guild that I play with.
Yeah,
but we just killed Gahoon, Heroic Gahoon last night.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if I'm gonna log in anytime soon because I feel like my job's done, and like, yeah, just playing it now just makes me really sad because
So how do you feel about the current state of the game and Blizzard in general?
That's what I was going to ask it. Yeah, I want to ask in particular, how do you feel about the PvP in the game right now, and how they did the change to that?
Honestly, I don't play that much PvP in retail, but just retail in general. Like, of course, it's not that good right now. They're making a bunch of very silly decisions, and I feel like the only time the game has a chance of being good again is next expansion, which is going to be in like more than a year.
Yeah.
So I just.
So you think they dug a hole too deep already? Like there's no coming
back. For BFA, yes. I just feel like it's Legion 0.5. Like they haven't done anything to improve the game. They pruned so many classes. They said, hey, Shadow Priests, Elite Shamans, and Feral Druids, I think, like they're really bad. And they're like, wait till 8.1 because we're going to rework you. 8.1 came out this week. It's just like they messed with percentages and stuff. Like they're still in the same state that they're still in.
So they're still, the gameplay aspect of it is still horrible for them. Like
definitely. And like I play Disc Priest and they got nerfed too. And it's not as fun to play anymore.
Yeah, so, I heard they were kind of crazy for a little while, Disc Priest.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? Oh, yeah, guys, I just wanted to point out, Melderon is currently living in my mom's basement, so you will currently probably see her occasionally doing the laundry, and that's what that noise is down there.
I am officially a neckbeard, but I've been muting
Yeah.
on the OBS end, so you won't be able to hear too much. But
Okay. Well, there's mom. Everybody say hi to mom.
My mom.
yeah,
Hi,
she's
Mom.
she's a
The
YouTube
real
sensation.
classic WoW
Yeah,
experience
exactly.
being in the basement.
So this is like, and it's so funny because I just finished my degree and I'm moving back home
He's
for
a
a couple months.
PhD living in his mom's.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. But it's very humbling. Anyway, so it's I'm moving back here until I move to Germany in about 3 months. So I am officially a neckbeard. I graduated into that status. But anyway,
literally
so
graduated into that status.
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. So what's the future of Blizzard? Like, what's the deal, man? What do you think?
Oh man. Well,
You can't survive
been
on
to
just relaunching old games. You can't do
exactly,
that,
exactly, right? So I've gone to BlizzCon 6 years in a row,
Oh,
something like that. I've gone for a very long time, but this past BlizzCon was probably the weakest one. Diablo Immortal came out, and that was I was in the crowd when that happened, and it wasn't rage initially; it was just confusion. Like everybody just looked around at each other, and they're like, "What's going on right now?"
Wow.
But yeah, I've also heard some things about like how they're getting pay cuts in Blizzard or something like that. I think that might just be rumors, though.
No, well, it's pretty much true. From what David Brevik said, so there's this really big bonus system. I mean, huge bonus system where people have the ability to make like double what they were making through the bonus, and it based on the work that they did that year. Well, they completely cut the bonus system. So, and Blizzard initially, like, they paid less than a lot of companies that were similar to them, but it made up for it with that bonus system. And it was a reason for a lot of people to go above and beyond into the work that we're doing, because, okay, let me work really hard and work with the community to try to help the community. And let me do that, and I'll be rewarded in this bonus system. Well, they got rid of the bonus system, and look how shit Blizzard has been with how they've been reacting to the community, with how they've been preceding the community. It's like a direct correlation, I think, when you saw, because like people care less when you're not getting rewarded.
Yeah, there's no incentive, right?
Exactly. So
it's kind of like Battle for Azeroth.
Exactly.
There you go.
Activision, and I think it's clearly, I think that's why Mike Moore left. I think that's why. This is all speculation. I think that's why Mike left, because he's not happy with where the company's going. I think Activision is having a bigger and bigger hand. They said, "Oh, well, look at the numbers Fortnite got. Why can't our games get numbers like this?" And they're trying to rework, the company and just focus on money, when Blizzard has always been a company that focused on the PC consumer and what they wanted. And they're not that company anymore. I truly believe that, and I think unless they completely do a turnaround now, it's only going to get. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, man. Classic WoW is just my beacon of hope for
and even Warcraft
coming
III
months.
Reforged. Yep.
On it, like Blizzard is not in a good state right now, but from the panels that happened at BlizzCon about Classic, I truly think that they know what they're doing here, and they understand that the no changes thing. Because there's honestly still some problems with the release schedule for Classic, like how they're rolling out content with Dire Maul.
Yes, absolutely.
But in general, I think it's loud and clear that they know what the community wants, and they're going to deliver the no changes stuff.
And that's where I'm confident in that, and I'm like kind of confident in the team that's doing this and developing and where their heads are with this. The part of where I'm worried is once it's launched and once things are going like, oh, and then Activision sees, well, the numbers are doing good. How can we draw more people in? Let's draw more people in by doing this, by doing that, and then going through that whole timeline that they've already been through, and kind of that's what I'm worried about. If it is a success and they get greedy, and a lot of that isn't the choice of the developers. A lot of it could be the choice of Activision pulling their hand and saying, no, we want this, we want this. So that's where I'm afraid. Not so much as where the classic team developers are. I think they have the right idea and the right, what they know kind of what to do, because they listen to the community. They listen to people like the people from NOS who are helping them with the project. But I think the issue lies in with Activision being greedy. So.
I think when NOS got shut down, Blizzard really saw how loud and prominent the classic WoW community was against stuff against Classic. So like big changes and stuff. I feel like they know that if they do something big, there's going to be a very loud outcry against it.
Yeah.
So hopefully they remember how pissed off the neckbeards of Classic can get if you change them.
That's true. But it's like, and that's what I'm hopeful with. But like, look at now and how pissed off people are getting at BFA, and they're doing something about it, but they're not doing enough. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm hopeful though. I am hopeful, but there is a part of me that worries. Of course, it's like the game that I want to play more than anything. And
did you guys know that Vanilla Warcraft III Reforged? I just found this out today because I'm like been totally out of the loop. Do you know that all the character models are being redone? All the graphics are being redone.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like I thought it was gonna be like StarCraft, where they just kind of make it high res. I didn't know they're redoing the whole game. I didn't realize.
They're redoing the entire thing.
Did you also know that they totally changed the Stratholme encounter? From like the whole map's changed. Yeah, to make it look more like it was to make it look like how Stratholme was in World of Warcraft.
Ooh.
I know. I was like, whoa! They totally changed the map for that encounter. The whole thing.
I played Reforged at BlizzCon, and I've never played Warcraft 3.
Okay.
Extensively.
They had Reforged at BlizzCon. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. It was all right. I don't know. I'm not a big RTS guy. I feel like there's definitely some work that they need to, especially the cinematics. They're kind of rough and super awkward with how the lines are delivered and animations and stuff like that. But I'm gonna get it when it comes out, and I'll play it because like I've never played Warcraft 3, and I feel like it's gonna be a good way to play it.
If you're interested in the lore of WoW, and especially like like the Forsaken, and of course the Frozen Throne, all that. If you're interested in any of that, do a playthrough through Warcraft 3.
I should.
So much.
Yeah, even on like super easy settings, just to get the cutscenes in there and just kind of just play through it, just because the storyline's so good.
And the game can be hard. Like on hard, the game's hard for me.
You know what else? StarCraft. I talked to you about this, Defcamp. StarCraft 2 single player storyline was excellent.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of StarCraft 2 gameplay wise, but man, it was a good story. So if you guys ever get a chance, you should definitely check that out as well.
Well, so what are your plans for the future, Platinum? Are you anything in the near future that you're going to be working on? Any kind of thing big that you're going to be working on soon?
For my channel, I kind of want to keep stuff under wraps. I don't want to spoil too much stuff about it.
Well,
but
I like that.
Definitely
I like to be surprised. So.
Yeah, I definitely do have plans, and content's going to keep rolling out until Classic release. Honestly, I'm worried about when Classic actually comes out, because I'm probably going to be spending more time playing the game and maybe not the videos. I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Just turn into a streamer and just stream everything that you're bringing.
There you go.
And then make it a video. Okay, no, I want you to still. But I mean, you know what? It all comes down to when the game's out. This is it. Live it.
Look, guys, I'm keeping to my word. I believe July 16th the game is going to come out. Okay,
so, July 16th.
Have you guys seen? Okay. Hold on, I gotta recall this now. Okay. So during the Classic WoW panel, when they were showing off the 2 character creation things, there was 2 rogues named July and Oscantly. Okay, so if you look up Oscantly on the WoW Armory, he is a level 16, rogue, and also if you look up Oscantly, it's the first recorded patchwork kill on July 16th, 2006. Okay.
Oh, shit.
You think they just named that rogue Oscantly for the hell of it?
No, that's definitely
no, guys. It's July 16th. Okay.
Wait,
wow,
where was this? First, this was in where?
The
what was next? Yeah, when they were like describing how they're making Classic.
Oh. Okay.
And panel at BlizzCon.
The panel,
right? So
that seems.
Did you pick that up, or did somebody tell you about that?
No, it was somebody on Reddit that found that.
I can't even hear about that.
Made a part of one of my videos was I talked about that at the very end.
Nice.
Well, there you go, guys. If it comes July 16th, you heard it here from Platinum. It's July 16th.
Exactly.
All me.
It doesn't matter who you heard it from. That's you said cool. It. So
I love Easter eggs like that.
Yeah, me too.
That's probably just their projected release date. We'll see if it's actually that.
Yeah.
Fingers
That would be
crossed.
so cool. I know, right, man? Oh my
Well,
God. I still have to slap myself sometimes, but like it's actually coming.
yeah,
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's crazy.
I have that same thing where like I don't know, I'll wake up or I'll be in the shower and I'll be like, wait, Classic's actually coming out. Like this is a thing
Yeah.
that's actually happening, and I get all
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
I
And
know,
yeah, so
man.
and we're gonna feature your. I mean, your stuff's gonna be featured as soon as we launch Classic WoW Live 2.0. We're gonna be featuring
Yes.
all your stuff as
Yep.
well, and I'm really
Awesome.
looking forward to seeing that, and it's gonna be really cool. And you know, we have a launch coming up soon. We don't know yet. We're not gonna
On the
spoil the
website,
pot
yeah.
yet, but we have the relaunch coming up soon. We have guys working hard behind the scenes to get that
Really
new
hard,
website
guys. Yeah, a
set
lot
up.
of exciting things coming out, especially with Platinum. Where what he's going to be doing, he has some really special, as you heard here, he has some special things planned out coming out soon. So be sure to catch that out. A lot of really special things coming on the
Yeah,
website.
so,
Classic WoW
yeah,
Live.
well, yeah. So, but if you haven't heard, I mean, if you don't know Platinum, if
Yeah.
you're new to the, Platinum is still relatively new. So his YouTube is Platinum WoW. You can't miss him. He has a
Yep.
little white smiley face guy next to the WoW logo. I mean, it's pretty easy, pretty clear. He makes banging machinima. I said this
Bang.
before the call. I think he's the Nixium of Classic WoW. I think it possibly could be. I
absolutely.
think he's working towards that, and I think that again, Nixium is a very lofty goal, of course, but Nixium
Yeah.
is very, very good at what he does. But
But the thing is, guys, like Platinum is blowing up right now. He was like where Nixium was, like so. Like you get here, become a fan of Platinum now, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I was a fan of Platinum before he had 5K subs. Get there now, and so that when you could be like, oh yeah, I'm a veteran. I've known Platinum back since the days when he was doing DefTalks.
Exactly. But if you haven't, so the best thing about his guys is not only are they funny, but they're also informative, and I think that's the beauty of it, is that you provide a lighthearted and light-handed view of something that's very over theorized and technical, but you put it in a way that's easy to digest, and I think that's the most important thing. So if you guys are listening on a podcast, so if you listen on Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, or SoundCloud, we also have a YouTube channel. Come on over, make a comment on the video. If you want to talk to us or Platinum, go to Platinum's YouTube channel. If you're not listening to us on a podcast, you can listen to us while you're walking around your dog or at the gym or whatever you're doing outside. We have that as well. You can also follow Platinum on Twitter. I have his Twitter handle up on the screen. It's at PlatinumWow654. Yeah, I mean, it's
Anything else, Platinum, that you want to put out there?
Thank you for having me, guys. You guys make me blush when you talk about my channel.
It's all true.
And yeah, it is. Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming.
And one last thing is that if you're listening to this and you want to be on DefTalk, we don't care who you are or what you do. You don't have to be someone like Platinum. We usually alternate between a content creator and a fan. So we've got a lot of emails in the past week of people that want to be on. So we're a little backlogged right now, but still, if you email us, we'll put you in the order. In the queue. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Thanks, Defcamp. So definitely.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's it, guys. Again, go sub over to Platinum, guys. Can't stress it enough. Amazing content. And until next time, guys, this is Defcamp.
This is Melderon and
Platinum.
All right, guys.
See you guys. Keep on
Bye.
grinding.
Yeah.